What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Fab Freddy Fox, and we're live with a special edition of Saturday Night Sit Down. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Fab Freddy Fox with a special edition to Saturday Night Sit Down. Today, I have the pleasure and honor of sitting down with baseball legend and mayoral candidate Bobby Valentine. How are you, man?
No, Freddie, honored to be here, and I'm doing good on this beautiful afternoon with you.
Well, thank you, thank you. You know, and I was just saying right before the show, man. I mean, just growing up in Stamford, it's everybody knew who you were. You know, what I mean, if it wasn't for your baseball accomplishments to your restaurant downtown. And at least the next point, that you were always involved with the community, one way, shape, or form. So we thank you so much for always giving back to Sanford.
Wow, thank you for saying that, because one of the key points of my campaign is the fact that I have always given. And what I want to do is try to make our city the model for other cities to give, to have each community respect the other community and find out what's needed, whether it's a prescription that needs to be delivered, or a dog that needs to be walked, or a little carpentry that needs to be made. Let's get everyone together, sharing and helping each other and making us the shining light of giving.
No, absolutely, man. And just for a perfect example, I mean, this past Saturday, you were at the Boys and Girls Club with us at the Heart and Purpose Foundation for the Back to School event. So thank you again for showing up and just getting involved with the people, talking to the young kids, and really finding out what's needed here so you can do it to make some changes for us.
Yeah, needs are the key. And once you find the needs, then you can fill them. And I've always been a need giver, a problem solver. So it's good being with you, man.
No, thank you so much, man. So just for starters, man, as I want to get into this, my main question is the purpose of doing the show is really finding out what it takes to be a good person or a good man, to help the younger generation find and develop themselves and growing up and getting better. So my question to you, starting off for you, what do you think are some of the main qualities or characteristics that it takes to be a good man?
Well, you have to understand those 3 R's that my parents made me grow up with. And at the time they were talking about reading, writing, and arithmetic, because my first generation parents wanted me to get a great education, because that's a friend indeed when you're in need. But the other 3 R's are those R's of responsibility. You have to be responsible to your community. You have to be responsible to those around you. But you have to understand that there's a job to do, and it's your job to do it. And once you could check that responsibility box, you could go on to that other box of respect that is so needed to be successful, And you have to, once again, respect those around you, those who are older, those who are younger, those who look like you, those who don't look like you. But you also have to learn to respect that person that you're seeing when you look in the mirror, when you brush your teeth at night. You have to look that person in the eye, and you have to learn to respect yourself. And then that 3rd R is the idea of understanding reality, not changing reality, and not fantasizing about reality, but understanding your reality, the way you fit into the community, to the universe, to help other people. That's your reality. And once you get it and you use the R's of respect and responsibility with them, I think you become a pretty good citizen.
Awesome. And I'm really happy. There's a lot of good key points.
That's a good question. I'm glad you asked that question.
No, that's the whole thing. That's what I developed this whole show around and stuff like that. Because I think it's important that, we all take knowledge from everyone. Because I always say we're not going to experience every single thing in life. But through talking to each other and understanding each other and really sharing and having an open mind, we can all develop and grow just by doing those things,
Absolutely. Sharing your experience with those who are wondering about your experience helps. But you can't teach experience. And so people have to go out there and try things, get outside of their little world to understand that there's a big, bright world out there that's waiting for them to conquer it, And step outside, ski the hill that's a little harder to ski and fall down once in a while, and then you'll learn to ski a lot better. Take that shot from the outside, not only from the inside, and eventually you'll be able to make all the shots around the court. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like Jordan said, we miss 100% of shots we don't take.
If you don't take them, you're not making them. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, and moving on, I'm curious, just from baseball to politics, how and when did you decide to make that change?
Well, a couple years ago, I started thinking about, transitioning from being the executive director of athletics up at Sacred Heart University, where, I've been in charge of 1,000 student athletes and 34 teams and 100 coaches and administrators, and what I might be able to do to help in another way, because the president of that university called me once and said, I need your help. And I said, how long you need it? He says, let's figure it out. And so 8 years later, I think most everything was accomplished that needed to be accomplished. And it was time to get somewhere else and give of my experiences at another level. And when I saw that there was this divide of political parties within our city that was driving people apart and keeping our city from accomplishing the things that they needed to accomplish, I said, why don't I take my skill set on the road and get back to Stamford, Connecticut, and be that person of change, that person who could make things better. And I decided to run.
Awesome. And you said that too a lot about like your different experiences and stuff like that. I mean, for you, what do you think, or what do you feel are your main qualities or things that you've developed over the years that's going to help you be successful in your role as mayor?
Well, that I've succeeded and I failed, and when I failed, I've gotten up. I've been broke and I've been less than broke, and I've understood running small businesses for 40 years in our city. I've understood living in different cultures all around the world. I understood about learning different languages so people could understand what I was really thinking and not just wondering when they looked at the foreign guy. I managed in Japan, where I was the first non-Japanese to ever manage in their major leagues in Japan. I mean, that was an amazing situation. I was one that stuck out. The 98% of the people in Japan at the time were 100% Japanese. And you know what? They didn't look like me. You know what I'm saying? So I understood how to navigate and assimilate in a foreign culture, being the outsider. And of course, at the university level of dealing with young people and people who have been at the higher ed forever and people who are trying to get to where they were initially thinking of going has just given me the life's experiences that I think a leader needs to have. They need to be outside of a little cocoon, but they also need to understand what it's like to be inside of a little cocoon. And I've done all that stuff.
No, absolutely. I mean, it shows you tons of experience and stuff. And as I said, for the younger kids and stuff like that trying to go on, I think a lot of things have gone away from our key morals as people, stuff like that, and seeing a lot of things going on with the younger generation and all this excessive violence or all these ones trying to one-up each other because they don't have either a role model or somebody to look up to. For you, what are some of your important morals or key morals that you live by?
Yeah, well, that idea of respect is necessary. Not, as I said, you need to respect everyone. And, it's a funny word. It's a reflective word. It's like looking in the mirror, because the more you give it, the more you get it. And I think that so many of our young people have not been respected by people around them, and they're looking for that attention. A lot of kids I talk to, I said, what do you want to do when you get older? They say, I want to be famous. And it's like, yeah, well, how do you want to be famous? And they just have no idea. They just want those million likes. They want to do something that separates them from everyone else in the internet world, and that's not what it's all about. Your moral compass must be how you're treating your fellow man and how your fellow man accepts you being part of their community. You know, it's a oneness. It's not a oneness that you're separated from everyone else to be famous. It's a oneness that you become part of everyone else so that you can be a contributor.
No, definitely. I think, like you said, everybody's looking for that, trying to be famous and not knowing what they want to do or just how to be famous is. It's also being that afraid to put in that work, that fear of failure, or like you said, like not being liked or wanted. But I think it's very important that we do that because most importantly is really be true to yourself and be honest with yourself. And as you do that, the people around you that are like you or like-minded will gravitate towards you and they feel you become that oneness. You'll find that group just by being yourself and being an individual.
Exactly, and knowing yourself. You know, a lot of people gravitate to the things they like, and then they try to be good at it. I try to tell people, figure out what you're good at, and then enjoy doing it. And then you could have a lot easier road to success. And it's a hard thing to understand what your skill set is. Everyone has a unique DNA, a unique fingerprint, a unique mark that separates them from everyone else, that makes them special, and they have to figure out what that specialness is that they're good at. And sometimes, you know, it might not be what you grew up thinking about. And so many people in sports say, oh, I really love baseball, and therefore I want to be a baseball player all my life. And eventually they have to come to the reality that they're not really that good at baseball. They're good, but not that good. So that's not what they should be. That there's something that they're much better at, that their skill set makes them good to great. And once they figure that out, then they should enjoy and appreciate who they are and what they do.
No, definitely. I mean, it's something that I've struggled with too. Like you said, continue sports. You know, I love basketball, huge basketball fan, and wanted to say have those dreams and aspirations and stuff. But like you said, I realized I'm not that good. You know, I love enjoying playing it.
The leaps,
Fun,
you need the leaps too. You need the shot too. You need the bounce too. Yeah, sure.
You know, but ultimately, what it all boils down to myself is that I love people with a passion. You know what I mean? I just love sitting down, talking to people from any different background, you know, anywhere they are, just to learn and understand and share that communication and really be that type of person. And that's kind of how I ended up doing this. You know, I was doing the last interview with somebody else, and I told them I used to work at a grocery store. I cleaned pools, I did customer service, I ran retail. Did so many different things trying to find out what my niche is. But at the end of the day, they all circle around, you know, loving people. And now here I am now doing something that I love to do, talking to somebody with, and, you know, I started off the 16 episodes in, and now I'm sitting down with you, which is so incredible because I believed in what I was doing, you know, went out there and wasn't afraid to take the falls and make those connections and stuff. And that's what we need to encourage them to do. Don't be afraid to fall or fail, you know, because you always learn.
Exactly, Freddie. But understand this too. You're good at what you're doing. And that's why you like it, huh? Because you figured out that being with people, talking with people, understanding the other thought, not only your thought, is what you're good at. And now you're smiling because you're actually making a living at it. You're actually doing what you're good at and you're loving it. I think that's special.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. So back to that, we know that's coming up November 2nd is the elections and stuff like that, and you're running. So let's say it comes here, November 2nd comes, the poll closes, and you are now the mayor of Stamford. What are the first three things you want to address and why?
Well, the first thing has to be the team that I bring with me. You know, everything's about people. It's not about things. And I will have a cabinet, a group of people who surround me who are excellent at what they do, and they will love what they do. And one of the things that they have to love doing is being a public servant, being that person who's willing to give more than they're going to receive, huh? And so I will put that group of people in place so that they can start to execute the things that need to be executed. And you know, to say that you're going to accomplish things in the first day or the first 100 days. The thing that I'd like to accomplish is to establish the attitude at the top of the city of Stamford, a giving, loving attitude for our city and our people that can filter down through the people who work in the city. Right now, most of the people I talk to are really disenchanted with their jobs. They're not appreciated, whether they're city worker or one of our first responders or anyone who's working for the city of Stamford feel like they're unappreciated. And I like to establish in that first 100 days that I understand the job they're doing, whether they're teaching, whether they're policing, whether they're cleaning, whether they're building, whether they're operating within our city budget, that I understand their job is necessary for the city to be great, and I'll show my appreciation. I will also show that I will be one to inspect what I expect, that we need to have people who are working, who are going to not only give back, but give back what the community expects them to give and how the community expects them to give back. So the biggest thing a leader could do, and it's one of the few things in an org chart that filters down from the top, and that's attitude. That I want to change the attitude that all of our city employees feel from the top of the pyramid.
No, that's really, really important. I think that's everywhere I've said. I have tons of different jobs, and that's the number one thing. A lot of people would say about their job that they wouldn't be happy if they had more pay. They wouldn't be happier if they had more, I guess it's all about being appreciated.
Amen.
When people feel valued and appreciated, they will automatically go that extra mile.
Amen. Check. And that's, and that's gotten lost. It's gotten lost for some reason. Now this year has been tough. There's no doubt that this COVID, 18 months, we've never done it before. There's no game plan. It's almost like practice all the time. And when you're only practicing, you get confused because you don't understand how the practice is going to translate into the results that you want. And so, again, a great leader will alleviate the confusion that we have in our community, not only those who work for us, but those who live in our community, that it's going to be a safe community, that the leadership has their best interests at heart, and that we are not only going to survive, but we are going to lead other cities out of this pandemic and show them the right way to do it.
Absolutely. So, speaking on that, so the whole COVID thing and stuff, so let's say again, when you are elected and stuff, do you have any plans or policies that you want to put into effect to try to battle this COVID situation?
Well, the public health will be my, major concern. And I think one of the situations and stumbling blocks that we've had is the lack of communication to all of our communities. We're a very diverse community. We might be the most diverse community in all New England, but I don't think all of our communities have been reached. I don't think that the effort and the proper effort has been given to people who don't speak English, to people who don't have internet access, for people who don't get on cable television. To reach those people, we need to have more community servicing so that everyone eliminates the confusion.
Yes. Yeah, it's like you said, it's a really big thing. Everybody has different cities and different areas and stuff like that have different policies, rules, and regulations, and nobody's not sure which way is what, and that just leads to, again, I think more of a divide, because again, nobody's getting the same information from the same place, and it's causing more separation within the community, which is devastating. It's all about being together. We live in the melting pot, we're in the United States of America. Everybody comes here to try to do better, and if we're able to help each other out, we'll always be successful.
Absolutely, I couldn't say it better myself.
So, I know I don't have much time with you, but as we're winding down, I got two last questions for you.
You got it, Fred. My time is your time, and your time is that great commodity. And as I talk to people around the town who give me their time, I thank them, because, you only have so much time in your life. And when you give your time to somebody else, they should be appreciated. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much. So, through your whole life and stuff like that, either baseball and stuff like that, what do you think has been the best advice you have ever received?
Wow, I've had great advice from the time I was in the public schools here in Stamford, given to me by people of the community who cared about me, advice from my family, advice from my coaches. But the one thing that always rang true was that I had to be true to myself. That when I have a rule that when I go to bed and I'm brushing my teeth at the end of the night, that I look in that mirror and I said, you were responsible for that one. I hope you did okay. And the next morning when I wake up and I look in that mirror, I say, hey, remember, you're responsible for this one too. So just being true, just trying to understand who I was and who I am and exhibit who I really am to those around me.
No, that's very, very important. I think that also resonates with one of the things that my mom has always told me, and I didn't understand it until I got older. But she would always look at me and say, I would rather be hated for who I am than loved for who I'm not. And I didn't understand because, again, I was always trying to be a chameleon or a people pleaser and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you're not going to please everybody. And at the same time, I read another quote too, at the end of the day, not everybody likes everybody anyway. So you shouldn't be worried about pleasing every single person. Just being true to yourself, being honest, being real. And like I said before, those people will gravitate towards you that are like you, that are like-minded, and you don't have to worry about anything else, or being fake or being real or putting on a show.
And the more you come in contact with people who know that you're real, they start understanding that it's okay to be real, and that love and that kindness spreads, rather than the question of, oh, I don't believe that dude. I don't believe what's going on there. That's a fake person that just, left this room, and that just leads people to, I wonder, should I be fake? If that person's successful and they're faking it, and that's how they're getting by, maybe I should figure out my fake. And I say to people, you should figure out your real, not about your fake, you're real. And people will really love that.
Because it's true. Everybody is big on vibes. No matter what we do, we feel for people's energy and vibrations and stuff like that. And we can understand there's plenty of times you would meet somebody and right off the bat you could look at them and say, I'm not feeling this person, for one reason or another. And it's because they're being fake, they're not being real. But when people who are honest, even if you don't like their opinion, even if you don't agree with what they're saying, you respect them. What, at least it's being real. I don't have to wonder if ands or butt, or worry about what happens when I turn my back.
That's it. Trust. Trust is that concept that allows teams to be successful. That when the group, and when I'm the mayor, I will try to instill trust in the people, in me, with the people of Stamford, so that team can be successful. One of the reasons we have such a divide in our country is because there's such lack of trust of leadership. Is he telling the truth? Is he doing that because the political party told him to do that? Is he doing that for political gain? So people start to wonder and not trust. And this entire pandemic could have been easier handled in a better way if from the get-go there was trust in leadership.
No, absolutely. I think that's a huge thing. I think you've done a great job over all these years. Again, before you even come to the political party and stuff, you're always giving back to the community. People know who you are. They trust you. We all love you here in Stamford. You're an amazing person. And the biggest thing is that you always looked out, even though we're being in LA, the Mets, wherever it was, Japan and stuff, you always recognize Stamford and where it came from, and we thank you and appreciate you that.
Freddie, thank you for letting me be here with you, and I really get a good feeling when I'm with you, and I do this anytime.
Absolutely. I would love to have you back. Is there anything else you want to share with the people?
I think we did good.
Awesome. I think we did a great job, man. So, well, thank you so much for being here, Bobby. And as always, everybody, no matter who you are, no matter what you've done, your big brother loves you. Stay blessed, everyone.